Excuse me. What gate does Universal Flight 88 from New York come in?
That gate, sir, where the attendant is opening up.
Thank you. You got that picture of Brock?
Yes, but there's one thing I don't understand.
What?
Well, we know that Brock was on that flight from New York, but why is it so important that the attendant recognizes him?
Well, we're after a recognition, sure. But more importantly, we want to know if someone met Brock while he was here. It's a starting point.
Generally, I'm pretty good at remembering faces.
I'm glad to hear that.
Ah, but that night, I wouldn't have recognized my own mother.
Not even your own mother?
Oh, the place was jumping. You see, a lot of flights to Miami were canceled because of a storm at the Miami airport. So Flight 88 was jammed with people who were coming here instead. People were everywhere looking for each other, waiting for somebody.
Are you leading up to telling us you don't recognize this man?
People trying to rent cars? No, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
He said people were trying to rent cars.
Now, next stop.
She looks very efficient.
And cute?
All we need is efficient. May I help you? Yes.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope you can. My name is Robert Scorpio.
Police Commissioner for Port Charles, New York.
And I'm Holly Scorpio.
What kind of car would you like, and what's your destination?
Well, actually, we don't want to rent a car. What we'd like to know is if this man perhaps rented the car on the morning of January 15th. His name is D.L. Brock.
Mr. Brock had a slight New York City accent and a very short fuse.
What?
Well, he could lose his temper with very little provocation.
Oh, I remember him. He snarled at me when I didn't have the make of car he preferred.
That's our boy.
He was really mean. Oh, gosh, I hope he's not a friend of yours.
No, he wasn't. Isn't.
Wasn't.
He's dead.
Oh, police commissioner.
Yeah, I'm looking into it.
Oh, I see.
What we'd like to know is if Mr. Brock met someone here and what his destination was.
I don't think he met anyone, but I can get the other information for you on the computer. It won't take but a few minutes.
Oh. Is there a place we need to get some coffee?
Yeah, there's a coffee machine right over there in the corner.
A machine?
Well, it's no worse than the coffee in the cafeteria. You know, I do remember one thing.
Yeah?
He wanted a road map that would show him the shortest route to Miami.
Miami.
This isn't going to help Bobby at all.
Let's get that coffee. Thank you.
I have that information for you, Mr. Scorpio.
Good.
Mr. Brock drove our rental car as far as Miami. Now, our mileage indicates that he didn't use the car after he got to Miami.
Where did he turn it in?
At the Miami airport.
The airport? Well, what time did he turn it in?
9:20 a.m.
Well, maybe he stopped somewhere between here and there.
I doubt it.
Why?
Well, if Mr. Brock drove at the speed limit or even a little faster, he couldn't have stopped any place for more than 15 or 20 minutes. If you'd like this copy of the printout.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime we can help you, be sure to.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
It's very odd.
Well, things are starting to become clear, and some things are not quite so clear. Well, it's clear that Brock's ultimate destination was Miami. What isn't so clear is why he turned that car in so quick. However, I've got to call the airport, Miami, sorry, to find out what time he got that flight back to New York.
So we'll know how long he was in Miami?
Yeah.
That sounds awfully dull, actually. A lot of work finding that out.
It's police work for you. 90% shoe leather, 10% brain work.
Well, I think I'm going to go over to that bookshop over there and get a nice suspense paperback. I'll get my thrills there.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to be helping me.
Oh.
Yeah, all right, so what we'll do is we'll get you a little pile of change, a little bag of quarters there, and then we'll find you a telephone, and we'll divvy up the airports. Come on, dear.
All right, so we know what night flight Brock caught back from Miami to New York. But so far, we haven't learned anything that's been of any help at all. Bobby. In fact, I think I'm more worried now than I was before we started.
Because we're now pointed towards Miami?
Yes, maybe we're about to open a whole can of nasty worms.
Yeah, well, regardless, I'm still going to check in with Ramsey.
Well, sound cheerful, won't you?
Why?
Well, we don't want him to know that we're depressed.
I don't care if he knows we're depressed or not.
Well, he might think we found out something awful about Bobby.
Look, Ramsey goes by the book. suppression is not in the police manual. Right. Captain Ramsey, please. It's Scorpio calling.
Yes, Robert.
First, tell me, has the grand jury come in on Bobby yet?
No.
Oh, no. All right, good. Now, listen, I'm still in West Palm Beach, but the trail is starting to lead us towards Miami.
Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect?
Yeah, I've got a telephone number for you, Robert. It's a number that Brock called the day before he took that overnight trip. I thought maybe you'd check it out for me.
Let's have it.
It's a Miami number.
Okay. Right, go ahead.
All right, it's 305-555-8787.
Okay, got it.
Now, Bobby didn't recognize the number when I showed it to her, so it's funny. You see, Brock talked to someone at that number for 10 minutes.
All right, listen, I'll get right on this. If it's a lead, we'll go to Miami. Now, if it isn't, we're booking the next flight back to Port Charles. I should see you late afternoon. See you, mate.
I have a nasty feeling we're going to find out something that we don't want to know.
Well, let's find out. Listen for it.
The office of Jerome Garvey, private investigator. I'm out of town for a few days. Can't be reached. At the tone, leave your name and number. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
It's Robert Scorpio speaking, Police Commissioner of Port Charles, New York. My phone number is 555-1901. That's in New York. Could you return this, please, as soon as possible? It's urgent. Thank you. Mr. Garvey is a PI.
Brock contacted a private investigator in Miami?
Yes.
Well, that's very intriguing.
So's the message on his answering service. Can't be reached, out of town.
Well, it's typically hard to find the private investigators. They're usually pretty elusive.
Or he can't afford an answering service.
Why didn't you tell him what you want?
Isn't police commissioner enough to warrant a return call?
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, now I'm really worried.
Why?
Bobby's past. She's always said that she told Brock everything about it, and I do believe her.
All right. So, the question is, what else is Brock after? I mean, Bobby told me about this sudden trip that Brock told her that it was a business deal.
Well, what else did she say about it?
Oh, nothing else. I mean, I guess, nothing I can recall anyway.
You guess.
Well, she said that she told me everything she knew.
Now, she was under a lot of stress when you were talking to her, when you were questioning her, right?
Right.
Robert, do you think that I could talk to her?
What?
She might think of something when she's talking to me that wouldn't occur to her when she's talking to you or the police.
All right. I think you're in for some rather slim pickings, but you got my blessing.
Thank you. It's nice to have your blessing. For a change.
Yeah. I'm really worried about this case. I hope you can come up with something to help Bobby. Because she's getting involved in this deeper by the minute. Hi. Said you were here. Just got back from the airport.
You free to talk?
Sure, have a seat. What can I do for you?
Two things, really. First, I'd like to know why you went to Florida, if you don't mind telling me.
All right. Turns out that's where Brock made his secret little trip to.
You come up with anything?
Yeah, we tracked him Palm Beach. The trail after that led on to Miami. Now, it appears that he probably met up with a PI down there, a guy called Garvey. Probably a lowlife.
You're thinking Brock went to Florida to get more information on Bobby.
Possible.
He also could have gone on a completely different matter, about somebody else.
I'd like to think that.
But you don't.
Well, I'm not saying that. It's just that I've got to have some facts. I don't mind telling you, I'm up against it on this one.
Yeah, I know. But at least that tells me you're not happy with the DA's case.
No, I'm not. But I've still got too many unanswered questions, like where is the third bullet out of that gun?
Maybe it's still in the person that shot Brock.
We both know that's unlikely.
Yeah. What about this Garvey character?
Well, I still haven't spoken to him yet. As a matter of fact, my secretary, I checked with her. He hasn't called in. His answering machine did say that he was going to be out of town for a couple of days. But the point is that whether this guy is honest or dishonest, I've still got to find out why Brock called him the morning before he went to Florida. But we've got no proof that they actually met up in Miami.
Yeah, but it's most likely that they did.
I've got to have facts.
Well, the DA has facts. All adds up right now to circumstantial evidence.
Enough for murder in the second, at least in this state. Well, he says he has enough. You said you had two things to talk to me about.
Yeah. Gail called me. She did a psychological profile on Brock. I'm sure this will come as a surprise to you. The man comes up psychotic.
Kind of man a woman could kill if she had a mind to.
You know, I would be nuts to submit this stuff as evidence.
You can be pretty sure the DA's going to have a similar profile if we go to court on this. Mind if I have a look?
FYI?
My eyes only?
What about the DA?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is what's called attorney's privilege material. I think it's your work product, I believe.
Yep.
Something I've got to tell you.
What's that?
Holly's gone to talk with Bobby. Now, technically, you should be there.
Holly?
If Bobby was to say anything, Holly would have to tell me. Got it?
Scorpio, I trust Holly. I'll take that candle.
There's been enough doom and gloom around here. I think you ought to get out for a while.
Well, are you going to stay a while, Miss Scorpio?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll get out and have a little pizza, play a little soft music, and I'll tell you the good news.
Good news?
Yeah, best.
Good, so go. Go.
All right. Are you going to be all right?
I'm fine. I'm
All right.
fine. You have a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll get her back early.
Don't get her back early. I'm fine, really. Have fun.
All right, I'm ready.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Bring back some pizza.
Yeah, with some anchovies, huh?
Hey, do you like anchovies?
I love it.
You okay? Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Back to Florida.
Holly, I honestly don't know what Brock would be doing in Florida. He wasn't getting information about me because he knew everything there was to know about my past.
Are you sure?
You reminded me of it so many times. My mind is very fresh.
Okay, so let's say that Brock hired the private investigator for business matter. Let's play around with that idea for a while.
When he came back that morning, he did say something about business. Something about some deal that he was hoping would come through.
Well, did it?
No. No. I remember now he said it hadn't. But that doesn't fit.
You remembered something.
But that has nothing to do with what happened later.
You don't know that. What doesn't fit?
Well, usually when a deal falls through, Brock would be furious.
And he wasn't this time.
No, he was up. He was in wonderful spirits.
But did you ask him about the trip?
Yes, I told you.
No, what I'm after is, did he say anything about the trip other than the business?
No.
Go on.
Well, he had a very dark complexion. But even so, I noticed that he had more color. So I teased him about his mysterious trip.
How?
He was acting very affectionate. And I said something like, oh, well, I know where you've been on your mysterious trip. And he stiffened. And then I said something like, oh, you've been to the Bahamas.
And what did he say?
I don't remember what he said. But he seemed relieved.
About your saying the Bahamas?
Yes. And then after that, he was very agreeable. He was darling.
So maybe his trip was successful.
But he didn't say it was.
But he was agreeable, amenable.
Yeah?
And he stayed pretty much like that for the next couple of days?
Yeah. Till the night of the party.
Well, this is very odd.
You mean as saying that the deal didn't come through, but then acting as though it did?
Yes. You didn't mention any of this when you were being questioned, did you?
Well, no, Holly, I didn't even think about it until we started talking. What does this have to do with what happened later?
Well, he said that the trip wasn't successful.
Yes.
And yet he was acting as though it were.
Yeah.
So it must be important.
Why?
Well, I'm going to let Robert figure that out. I think I've got out something.
I'm thinking.
Well, that's a good sign when I say something and then you start thinking.
It's called food for thought. Now, Bobby said she does not believe that Brock would have put a PI onto her to find out information about her past. However, Brock came back from that trip and said that it was unsuccessful, but acted like a man who was exhilarated.
Very.
So, possibly, something else was going on in Brock's life. Something that had nothing to do with Bobby or business.
Another element.
Or another person. Someone else involved in the last day of Brock's life.
Involved in his death, which is more to the point.
We find that third person, something tells me we're going to find that third bullet. And I have something here. Something from Bobby's statement.
What have you got?
All right, here. The night of the party. Now, she maintains here that Brock had no idea about this invitation until he got back in the morning. She was surprised he even wanted to attend it. It's ironic. Turned out to be the worst mistake of his life.
Who invited the Brocks, anyway?
Frisco, in all innocence.